The backhand bottom turn is the most important manoeuvre of all. Without a good bottom turn, how can you possibly have anything else good to follow it? So I strongly believe that, the bottom turn is the foundation to, everything you do next. There's some really key techniques involved, so you get heaps of drive out of them and heaps of power into your next turn. The more drawn out and the more out in front of the wave you go with your bottom turn, it's going to allow you more time to go straight up and down on the face. And the tighter you do your bottom turn, the more out onto the face you're going to go. So this particular one, I'm not doing a very vertical turn at all. It's sort of more of just like a halfway hack up the face kind of carve, I guess. You can see here at this point that I'm pretty much just right at the bottom of the wave. I always refer to a backside bottom turn, when you're at the pinnacle of it, you're kind of like sitting in a seat. Your butt's almost touching the water and you just really laid over your heel side edge. The only way to make it work is to have really low center of gravity. What this does is evens out your weight distribution over your board and allows you to motor through that turn. If you stand too upright, what's going to happen is you're going to lose balance and, of course, lose drive throughout that turn. So you can see here, I'm really looking for some open face to hit. So my bottom turn's like, it's just basically I'm running along the wave, driving, trying to get as much speed as I possibly can, and holding that line and holding that rail until I'm ready to go up the face and carve off the top. You'll notice here I've changed from my heel side rail to my toe side rail. In order to make that work properly and so that you don't get stuck up on the lip, you need to have a lot of speed and power and a lot of drive out of your bottom turn. That's going to give you forward momentum and it's going to really throw you and accelerate you into your next turn. You'll notice just from doing, that very, very sort of long bottom turn where I'm not too far out on the face, it's limited, how vertical I can go up the face. At this point, I want to chat a little bit about what my kite's doing. You can see the lines are really quite low and they're basically running along the wall of the wave. Ultimately, what you want to try and achieve at this point is sending your kite in the same direction that you're going, but at the same speed you want to go. It's really, visualizing what you think the wave's going to do and, lining that up and working in with that. So you're doing the turn in the perfect position on the wave. This is a really good example of drawing out your bottom turn and doing a much tighter vertical turn off the top. I actually see at this point, when I'm dropping into the wave, I edge up in the opposite direction that I want to go. What this is helping me do is go further out onto the flats of the wave and get more of a drawn out, tighter bottom turn so I can go straight back up the face. You're only going to be able to go out in front of the wave to a certain extent. If you go too far out into the flats, you're going to wash off all your speed and lose your speed. So you've got to really find that fine line of how far out you can go. That comes with time and practice. Okay, I've picked exactly where I want to hit, and at this point I want to go straight up. So I've gone into my chair sitting position, really lowered my center of gravity. My butt's almost on the water, and this is where I'm going to drive and push really hard off my tail. And just push myself straight up the face, straight at the lip. A couple of key tips with, learning how to really achieve what you want out of your bottom turns is the first one, make sure you have plenty of speed. You can always wash that speed off. It's better to have too much speed than not enough. Remember the chair sitting technique. If you feel like you're sitting in a chair when you're doing your bottom turn, then you're getting there. Remember that the more you draw out your bottom turn and the more that you go out in front of the wave, the more vertical you're going to be able to go after that. So my final bit of advice is practice, practice, practice. It's absolutely essential that you have a good bottom turn because it's the foundation to everything else that you do next.